One of the biggest challenges that new Linux users face is using the terminal. The situation is further complicated by the fact that in different Linux distributions, in order to achieve the same result, you need to use different commands. For example, if you want to update the system, you will have to use one command for Ubuntu and Debian distributions, another for Fedora Linux, a third for Arch, and so on. Given that for new users, simply using the terminal can be intimidating and using the appropriate commands can lead to confusion and uncertainty, today we'll be talking about two applications that can help make using Linux easier, regardless of which Linux distribution you have chosen. TuxMate is a web application whose main goal is to make it at least a little easier for new Linux users to install various popular applications. When you visit this website, the link will be in the video description, you will first see a list of various applications which are grouped into logical categories, such as web browsers, office tools, file sharing, gaming, and so on. If you want to install one or more applications from this list, all you need to do is select them. TuxMate will automatically generate the command or commands needed to install those applications. All you need to do is copy the commands by clicking the copy button, open the terminal, enter the copied commands, press enter, and enter your password to grant permission for the installation. By default, TuxMate is set to generate commands for the Ubuntu Linux distribution. However, if you are using different Linux distribution, click on the drop-down menu in the upper right corner and instead of Ubuntu, select the distribution you are using. Each of these Linux distributions uses a different package manager for installing packages, so the commands are different accordingly. By using this web application, you won't need to memorize different package manager commands, just pick the apps you want and then select your Linux distribution. As you can see, TuxMate will automatically change, that is, generate the new commands, the moment you select the desired distribution. Besides copying installation commands, you can also download them in the form of a script by clicking on the download button or script button. What is important for new Arch Linux users and users of other distributions based on Arch Linux, when you select Arch in the drop-down menu and then select the applications you want to install, TuxMate will ask you whether you have an Arch user repository helper installed. AUR Helper is a tool that makes it easier to install and manage packages from the Arch user repository on Arch Linux and other distributions based on it. If it is not installed or you are not sure, click No, meaning you don't have this option installed, after which you will get two options. That is, you can choose whether you want to install Yay or Peru installer. The recommendation is to choose the first option, that is Yay. And if we now click on the list of commands, as you can see, the command used to install the Arch user repository helper will also be added to the list of applications you want to install. This way, the process is made easier and faster for new users without wasting time. Besides choosing different distributions, TuxMate gives you the option to generate commands through which you can install Flatpak, Snap, and Homebrew applications. In other words, if you want to install applications as Flatpak, for example, click on the drop-down menu in the upper right corner and select the Flatpak option. Then from the offered list, select the applications you want to install. The second application you can use to make using Linux easier for yourself with the goal of installing various applications and adjusting Linux settings is Titus Tech Linux Utility. This is the Linux version of the well-known Windows application Titus Tech Windows Utility, which we already talked about and which is considered one of the best options for customizing Windows. For those who missed watching that video, the link will be in the description. The Linux version of the application is launched by entering the command that you can find on the GitHub page into the terminal and pressing enter. The link for the GitHub page will of course be in the video description. When the application starts, you will first see groups in which some popular applications have been logically organized, as well as a list of applications that you can install that don't belong to any group. By using the arrow keys on the keyboard, you can select the option you want. For example, we will select web browsers and press enter. After that, we will get a list of web browsers that we can install this way. We will select, for example, Zen web browser, which is a modified, popular version of Firefox that focuses on user security and privacy. When we press enter, the program will ask us to confirm our choice by pressing Y or to cancel the installation by pressing N. When we press Y, the installation will begin. The program will run the installation command on its own, and you can follow the entire process in the terminal. If you change your mind during the installation and want to cancel, you can do so by simultaneously pressing Ctrl+C. When the installation process completes successfully, you will receive the message "Success, press enter to close." In the same way, you can install other applications that you can find on this list. Besides installing programs, this application also offers you other options. In the segment on the left side, you can see a list of options. Applications Setup is the option that is selected by default when the application starts, and as we have seen, it is used for installing new applications. Then we have Gaming, Security, System Setup, and Utilities. Navigating and selecting is again done using the arrow keys on the keyboard. In the Gaming segment, we have the option to enable or disable certain options, to perform optimization for better performance while playing games, as well as the ability to install emulators. In the Security segment, we can perform optimization of settings related to the firewall. While in System Setup, you can update the system itself, clean the distribution of unnecessary files, install dependencies needed to run most games that work on Linux, set up the desktop, choose the theme, and similar options. In the Utilities segment, you will find options that give you the ability to create and configure user lists, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, automatic login, and so on. You can leave any questions, suggestions, and ideas for future video content in the comments. Thanks to everyone who took the time to watch this video. I hope you find it useful or at least informative.